All right, we're starting the whole thing, right?
Yes. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? You're listening to 91.3 FM WTSR at the College of New Jersey, and this is the weekly Smash Wrap. We bring you stories from the underground world of Smash Ultimate here at TCNJ, throughout New Jersey and the world. I'm oscarwildefan69, and this is
Casey. Listen, Owen, we had an eventful week, to say the least, here in Mercer County in the Super Smash Bros. Scene, so it would only make sense for us to bring along with us a very special guest for episode number 10. Of course, I'm talking about someone who, ever since he came here in fall of 2022, has been an absolute legend for the Mercer County fighting game community. Not just for Super Smash Bros., but also for Street Fighter 6. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the super heavy savant himself, BJR.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
I'm pretty good, man. We had a really awesome weekend, and we're going to talk all about it this episode. So, Owen, you want to sort of lay the scene on what we're going to do today?
Oh, I will happily lay the scene on what we're going to do today. First up, we have the BJR feature, What? And then we also have the Royal Stampede tournament, a D-tier event that happened at Rider University, funded by TCNJ Lions Gaming. And then we also have F-Troop and a special activity. And so I'm as excited as you are. Would you like to take away the interview?
Yeah, so Brian, I wanted to talk to you about how you are really a man that has mastered many different video games. I'm not just talking about Super Smash Bros. And Street Fighter. I mean, we all kind of know about that, but you've even played a lot of Marvel Rivals, a lot of Guilty Gear in the past, and so I wanted to ask, what made you fall in love with video games, and what has motivated you to really take it to the next level during your collegiate career?
Yeah, so I think my love for games just kind of started back, really, when I remember playing a lot was starting out with Smash Brawl.
Yeah, bro.
And that I just played a lot as a kid with my brother and everything. So that's just kind of where like the love for video games kind of started. I've always been like a big Nintendo person. Mm-hmm. So I've always been like waiting for the Smash games to come out, always getting all the DLC, everything, just to make sure I can play like everything that I want. But I would say I didn't like start getting into competitive stuff until Smash Ultimate really came out. And even then I didn't go to tournaments. I just tried to get better kind of at a competitive level at the game. So I would play like a lot of online. I was a big Elite Smash player.
That's
back
my
in 2018. Home.
Yes. I lived on Elite Smash.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I started out, I would say. I would always watch, I can't even remember what the YouTube channel was that I used to watch, but I would always watch these clips from all of like the big tournaments that would go on, like just kind of compilations of like what tournament happened that weekend. Mm-hmm. So not until 2022, like you said, did I actually start going to tournaments, and my first tournament was the first TCNJ Biweekly, and unfortunately that VOD is not up anymore, so you can't see like my first ever set
RIP
on stream. That's when I 5-stocked Bean. So
wait, Bean was playing from that long ago?
Yeah,
he's been here, bro.
He's been around.
Legend.
Yeah, he was my first match, and then I remember going up against Xavier, who I thought I could probably also beat, but then it ended up kind of getting my butt whooped. So that kind of
that's
sent me
the Xavier classic.
Exactly, sent me down to losers, and then from there, I'm trying to remember who I even played. I think I played maybe like a Captain Falcon player. I don't know who it was. Nobody like notable.
Dude, was that Zote that you played?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm checking this out right now. You were this is Fights of the Round Table #1. This is back when Steve was the big TO. Okay, so you played this guy named Will. Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, so
but shout out to Zote though. Legends.
Yeah, I played him, and then I believe I went straight into Kevin JSI.
Yep. And
I remember losing with K-Rool game 1. And Kevin's known to have like a long like K-Rool history of like just people he's played against. I'm pretty sure he's played the character. And then I ended up going DK, and DK Byleth is not a very great matchup, as we all know. But I ended up doing the reverse 2-0 and taking that upset, and then I eventually went into Toph. And I beat both his Ness and Incineroar. And I remember going up to 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 be like, oh, yeah, I just won 2-0 against Toph. And they're like, you beat Toph?
You were calling him Toph?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that guy, I just beat that guy. And he's like, oh, cool. And then I just remember losing to Venture. It was pretty close when I played Venture, but ended up losing him and getting 7th at my first ever tournament.
That's crazy.
We were calling Kenny the original child prodigy. I think we found a new one.
Not as good of a child prodigy,
No,
but I'll take
honestly,
it.
I was the original prodigy because I was actually not. I was under 18 when I went to my first TCNJ tournament. I was technically not allowed to be
Yes,
there.
no, I remember like being there, and I was like,
But we were like, whatever.
I was like, oh, cool, the graphic came out, and I got top 8. I'm like, maybe I'm like the best freshman, and I did not know that you were a freshman, or at least like I didn't stay long enough. I mean, Noah specifically would be able to know about this, that I, after every tournament, I would always be sitting in the back of the room just kind of waiting for my matches, not really talking to, literally talking to nobody.
Yeah.
And after I would lose, I would just leave the tournament. Not out of salt or anything like that. I would just leave because I'm like, oh, cool, I'm out.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
And so that kind of brings me to my next question is what led you just kind of opening up to the community? Because you're originally such a quiet guy, but now you're kind of known as like the funniest person in the whole community, one of the most influential people in this whole Mercer County scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just after freshman year. I think I really started opening up and talking to a few more people. I almost want to say around like spring semester, like towards like the end of it. But then also mainly at King because I was put on the King, I believe 2023 crew battle team.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I have to talk to these guys now to like know what positions I have to go in and everything for the lineup. And just from there, I was like, I think that's when Flaquito took over as the head TO for the next semester.
Shout out Flaquito.
And this is when I wanted to do something for the community that like I thought would be kind of cool because I knew I would probably be one of the players that they would have to shout out. Mm-hmm. It was the little Twitter posts that we would do.
Yeah.
And I messaged Log, who I love working with for all these like commissions and everything.
Yes,
and
sir.
I believe I first got it for my banner, like that I have on X right now. Or
the K-Rool GIF.
Yeah. And then I was just like, hey, can you work on a TCNJ project for us? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I got 5 different players. I got Apokwa, myself, Xavier, Shineburst at the time because he was just coming out. I'm like, do we know any like freshmen coming in? And Flaquito was like, yeah, there's this Shineburst guy who plays like Pyramithra. And I was like, okay. And then Flaquito as well. It was the 5 players that I was going to try to shout out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then from there, I just, like, kind of started talking to everybody a little bit more. Yeah.
No,
there you go.
That's really special. I think it's been great. And I know Owen wanted to talk to you as well about Street Fighter 6 because, obviously, nowadays, Street Fighter 6 is kind of your claim to fame. So, want to expand on that?
Well, when I met you, Brian, this is me doing my retroactive scene setting. When I first met you at Hyperspace, and you drove me home the day I met you.
Yes.
I just got into a stranger's car, and his name was Brian.
Yep, I drove home. Oh, my God, I can't remember who I drove home. I think it was
me, Kenny,
you,
and I think Noah.
Did I drive you home?
Was I
Noah?
there?
I forget. I couldn't remember if it was Noah or if it was Connor, Tempo, TCNJ Tempo.
I don't think it was
But
Tempo.
I don't think TCNJ Tempo ever went to...
He went to like one hyperspace.
Yeah, but I don't ever remember him going like with me or me ever being there when he went to one.
Those are some memories.
But anyway, when I met you, like, for some reason I just didn't get the vibe that you cared that much about fighting games. But then you like destroyed me 2-0 with your K-Rool, and then I just didn't get the vibe that you were a fighting game player. And then like you're like what number 3 at TCNJ at the time, and then what happened is you beat me like 6 times after that.
Yeah, and now I can't seem to beat you ever.
Well, but like I was so glad about that Queen win. But then one time you said something, I think it was at Hyperspace. Yeah, I like Smash, but I play way more Street Fighter. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This isn't even this guy's main game. But so you clearly care about Street Fighter. You've been playing since what? Street Fighter 5?
Yes, so 2020, the only reason I got into Street Fighter 5. Actually, no, let me go back a little bit farther. So when I don't even know what year it was, probably around like 2014. This was like during a Christmas, like my grandmother would always get us like fun gifts. I would always get like fun like video game gifts. Like one Christmas I got like just like an N64. So I had like
That's
a bunch of
cool.
like the old like N64 games that I would just like play. And one of the things that she got me was we just got like an Xbox 360, but this was also when like the Xbox One came out. So it wasn't even like, it was just kind of there. But I remember her getting me this Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, like 25th or 20th anniversary bundle.
Yeah.
And it had like all of the soundtracks for all of the characters, like all their themes in like this box. I still have this Ryu figurine. It's like at my house at home. It's like him doing the Shin Shoryuken, like his super, and it's like a cool like, little light up figurine. And I just remember playing like Street Fighter 4, like just because I had the game. I'm like, oh, cool. And Ryu, not soon or pretty soon after that, was coming to Smash 4.
Oh, yeah.
Like only like a few years after, because I think the DLC ended around like 2016 for that game. True.
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah. So I would just remember like not knowing anything about Street Fighter in any way. So I remember my only combo in that game was doing jump heavy kick into jump heavy kick into sweep.
That's like Ryu and Bison today.
That literally that was my only combo. Didn't know how to do anything else. And I got Street Fighter 5 and I tried to do the same combo and the game was totally different. So it wouldn't let me do that all the time. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God.
What do you mean it can't double jump? Where's the smash ball?
That's what I'm saying. Like, where's King K. Rool?
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
What's funny is that he wasn't even in the game at that point.
Yeah.
He's an ultimate debut.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, Street Fighter 5 is like when I really like started to pick up the game and actually like learn Street Fighter. And I think it was about a year after I had started playing the game, I got to Diamond Rank, which is like the average, like, you know what you're doing in Street Fighter rank. But really, literally for, I think, 2 years after that, because Street Fighter 6 came out in 2023, I did not go anywhere beyond that rank. Like, I was hard
so you did not go
stuck.
Lower.
Did not. Went, like, a little lower, maybe, like, down to, like, Ultra Platinum, but then, like, immediately went back up to Diamond. Like,
I see.
But didn't go up to Super Diamond. Like, I was hard stuck in Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been online in Street Fighter 6. It's rough because it's like you're trying to learn your fundies. Meanwhile, it's like the 7th modern Bison in a row that's just spamming Psycho Crusher, and you're like, why can't I react?
Who would do that?
Yeah, I don't know a single
something?
person in this room who would do that. But anyway, but you grind Street Fighter. Eventually, you get to Master Rank. Around when was this? Do you think?
This was only maybe, I think this was in September of 2023. So the game came out in June, like beginning of June 2023. And I believe I hit Master Rank around September 2023, like the beginning of school. Because I remember like taking a picture in my dorm of me getting the rank.
And is this around the time then you started going to local Street Fighter tournaments? Because we all watched that grudge map with FemShep.
Yeah.
So
cinema.
So September 2023, no, actually. The first tournament that I ever did for Street Fighter 6 was a Tampa Never Sleeps tournament on Wednesday after a class that semester, and I went like maybe like 3-2 in the tournament, like, and that's pretty good for a Tampa Never Sleeps tournament. Yeah, that has like literally the best players in America playing it every single week. So, yeah, I did actually like really well in that tournament, but then I didn't go to another one until the spring 2024 when I went to my first Hops and Stocks tournament because I was like, oh, it has Street Fighter and Smash. Let me go because I don't have any Monday night classes.
And did you meet FemShep like through that circuit there?
So the first tournament I was seated like fourth and there was like 6 people, so I was like one of the lower seats. Like they didn't know who I was. Did okay in Smash. I went like 2-2 or something like that. But then I played in Street Fighter and I dropped a single game because I started trolling Wheezy in Winner's Final when I was already up 2-0, and I was like, oh well. And then I completely destroyed him the next game, and after that I didn't lose any games for the rest of the tournament.
And so then you became the local Zangief specialist. And then, so what? How did the grudge match start? You decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we did that?
It was funny because I had joined the Discord, and they like posted the new... What's it called? Like they posted the like the top 8.
Yeah.
So I had seen that I was first, and everybody else obviously in that Discord can see like who got what. And FemShep specifically said like, "Oh man, we have a geef finally like winning," because I don't know if there were really any geefs in the scene at the time. I think the only one was maybe Weed Eater at the time, who has then like evolved a lot in the game, but I'm guessing like around then he wasn't as good obviously as he is now.
Yeah.
Shout Weed Eater.
He's been popping up in Ultimate too.
Yeah.
But so you guys became friends then, was it just for the fun of it?
Yeah, I mean it then came towards the next Hops and Stocks event, which was Hops and Hits Spring, or it was Hops and Stocks or Hops and Hits 2, and she was at that tournament. And I remember everybody was like, oh man, I don't know who this BJR guy is, because FemShep usually is the number 1 seed for all those tournaments, or majority of the time. So she was the 2nd seed, and she was like, yeah, I have no idea what this is. And like 3 other guys are like talking to her about like, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I'm sitting right next to them on the couch listening to this whole conversation. I went back to 2022 BJR where I did not say a single thing to anybody
Just on your
at
side
this
of the
tournament.
computer.
I was just on my phone. I'm like,
It's like that
We'll
meme of
see.
like the guy in the corner with the party hat and like they're all dancing and they're like
I
they don't know I have a
wanted to
1-button
make
SPD.
that meme so bad after that tournament. I was like, yeah, these guys don't know that I'm probably the best player in the venue. for Street Fighter.
They'll know I'm Grandmaster with Geef.
And
So
yeah,
real quick, that's a crazy story, but I just want to ask you before this segment ends, because this is really what I wanted to get to, but we got sidetracked. What's it been like bringing Street Fighter to TCNJ? Because I know we wanted it for a while. Kenny got us all into it, and you. And then we were up against Melee was the problem. What was that like?
so this was around last year. This was when Kenny was starting to get into Street Fighter. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. But I already known so many people in the TCNJ scene were actually like into Street Fighter, specifically like Flaquito, Apokwa, Shineburst had then started getting into it. I'm assuming that you,
Yeah, I
Owen,
played
didn't get
Street
into
Fighter,
about like September, like around when Kenny like was officially into it.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
when you started.
He's the one who got me in, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like thinking like, what if we just got Street Fighter at like some of these tournaments? Like so many players like love it, and I was looking at the Melee count, and it was maybe around like 8 to 11 entrants every tournament for Melee, so it wasn't like that much. But the main reason I think I wanted to get rid of it was because I always had to take my car to go get these setups before every tournament,
my
and it ended up
God.
being that Kevin and Xavier couldn't come help me like beforehand anymore. So it was just me, my 5'8", like my 5'8" self trying to
my
go
5'8" personhood.
trying to get him out of the like this 6 foot like 4 closet, climbing up on a ladder to get like 4 Melee setups. It was just like
not
so much
worth
of a
the
hassle. I was
energy.
like telling Xavier, I'm like, if the next Melee tournament does not get
X amount of people.
yes, then we should add Street Fighter 6 and we'll try it. And now we are where we are right now.
The rest is history.
Let's go.
And I feel like there's so much enthusiasm around Street Fighter 6 at TCNJ, so we really got to give credit where credit's due and give you your flowers in terms of really bringing life to the scene in this new realm. So, yeah.
For sure. And what I also want to know is, what's it like mentoring some TCNJ players too? Because now you're the guy people go to for advice. I think.
Everybody besides TCNJ Tempo is easy to coach. Everybody has been like
Just end the
really
interview there.
exactly
This is actually the last episode of all time.
and scene. Yeah, I mean everybody was like super open to like wanting to learn more about the game. Like specifically Shineburst was always asking me questions like, hey, Brian, what does this do here? What is the frame data here? I'm like, well, this is the frame data, this is that. I think my knowledge about what everything is just by watching the game, not even like playing it half the time, like just watching the game has really like given me all the knowledge that I need to know to be able to tell people like this is what you should be practicing, and then you base your skills on what you need to fix.
And we really appreciate that because I know I've learned a lot from all the improvement that's been coming in the TCNJ scene. Just playing a Pokwa and getting destroyed by EO every week. You're gonna get me to master one of these days.
Trust the process.
Until then, that's gonna do it for this segment. So coming up, we got the Royal Stampede. We'll be right back. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're enjoying the show. Real quick, before we get back into it, if you're interested in following the host on Twitter, you can find me at O_Buck_King, and you can find Casey at CaseyNoah. And if you'd like to listen to the show after it airs, you can find the YouTube link on my Twitter. That's O_Buck_King. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get back into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the weekly Smash Wrap. We just got done doing the BJR feature, and now we're going to move to the Royal Stampede. How do you guys feel about the Royal Stampede?
Man, this was so hype. I mean, first of all, I just want to give all the love in the world to Nelson, a.k.a. Poncho. He is the guy that has really made all of this possible for Rider University. This is his last semester being the head TO at Rider, so honestly, we need to give the freaking round of applause to
I know.
to Nelson for bringing this all together, man, because he is like the backbone of the Mercer County community at this point, and we
Honestly.
all just love and appreciate him so much. So I wanted to start off with that, but anyways.
Yeah, no, it went really smoothly, and I was just so impressed. They got the perfect room. It was so big. We had
Dude,
space for
that
everything.
venue is beautiful.
I know, it was
venue was
overlooking
really,
the
really
lawn.
nice.
And they got Wendy's downstairs.
That might have made my whole day.
Absolutely.
After a bad bracket run, that might have made my whole day.
Yeah, honestly, the spicy chicken sandwich was pretty decent. Although I literally just got the chicken and a bun because I'm a picky eater.
Wendy's Baconators always hit for me.
Well, anyway, the Wendy's was very good. Highlight of the tournament.
However, even better was the tournament itself.
Exactly.
That's true. And listen, some monumental things happened at this tournament. Before we get into the actual bracket, we had so many antics coming from the riffraff. First up, Menchu brought the "We need to ban cargo throw" sign, and Noodle took a picture with it.
Yes,
I think
sir.
that was
Go.
And
that
a
was
bunch
so
of people,
funny.
a bunch of top players were able to sign the protest sign, essentially.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we got a lot of signatures in there. I know some of the Rider and TCNJ people, including myself, were able to sign it. I know some top players like Noodle and Apsara were able to sign it as well. I'm not sure if Zomba and Jakal got around to signing it, but I would really hope so because that would be really funny.
Yeah, I
That
think so
would
too.
be
We'd have to
generational.
we have to hit up Menchu on that, but
Until
we'll
then, speaking of Jackal, something happened between me and Jackal. It was a historic peace settlement.
incredible moment right here. Do you know about this, Brian?
Oh, that $5 finally back to his
$5.
rightful owner.
As you know, I bought a VOD review from Jackal a long time ago, a year ago, I think, or maybe, I don't know. But I bought this VOD review, and he didn't give it to me, so I asked him about it. He ignored me. And so
Sad.
I started sending him messages that look like IP addresses.
Dude, I talked about this to Alex Wu, the one of the TOs for Collision. He started dying laughing,
He
dude.
could not hold it in.
It was hilarious. But
But what happened after was it became a thing in our scene, and I posted that tweet about it, and it blew up. But then I saw him at the event. And you actually, because I was too scared to stand up for myself.
yeah, you
the bully
dude,
Jackal.
you were getting cold feet, dude. I could tell.
I was, no, because you don't understand. I've watched like so many of this guy's VODs. For some reason, I was like starstruck by this guy.
I know how it feels. I was starstruck when I first saw Zomba at like a random fusion like 2-3 years ago. So like I get it. And so I just went up to Jackal because I've talked to him a few times before. I'm just like, yo, my boy Owen, do you know about his tweet? And he was like, and I told him the context. He was like, oh yeah, I know about that. We both had a laugh about it. And he actually gave me $4 and then asked Pharaoh if he had $1 as
Oh
well.
my
Man, so he really just couldn't pay it back.
He really couldn't. Oh
No,
my god.
because he had 4 ones and then a 20.
Is Jackal going to have to quit Smash? Because I.
You just made the guy
But
go broke.
He owes Owen. I mean, I think he Venmo'd Pharaoh $1 in exchange for that dollar bill.
Oh, okay.
But he gave it to me. It was like, you give it to Owen. And then after your sacrifices to Man, I was like, from the man himself. Here
And
you
I
go.
was like, it was like they found a piece of the cross or something. I was like, oh my God. And then later, he was
Crazy
sitting down.
analogy. That's so crazy.
I mean, that's how I would think if I finally got my $5 from a previous, top 50 player in the world?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was like, it was an artifact. It was like a sacred item.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put it in my inventory,
Yep.
AKA my pocket. And I didn't want to make Jackal stand up because he was sitting down, as you do when you're sitting down. And
Yeah.
But then one time he went to use the bathroom or something. When he came back, right before he was about to play, I say, Jackal, Jackal, Jackal. Dude, I'm so sorry. I sent those messages to you while I was high. Can I please just take a picture with you? And he was like, yes. And it was his idea to do the handshake.
Really? It
Really?
was.
So he was a good sport about
Oh,
it.
he's a G for that.
For anyone that thinks that you can't go up and just talk to a Smash player, they're just a normal person who
Yeah.
probably owes you $5.
Exactly.
That's
No, Jackal's such a chill guy. I've talked to him many times before. I have a story about how at Collision, he went up to me and said hi just because we've talked before, and that was so cool. And it just reminds you that these top players they're just
They're just normal
everyday
people.
people. Yeah, and so it's cool. And obviously you have that tweet of the picture of you with the $5 in hand,
Oh,
shaking
yes.
Jackal's hand, being like, "We squashed the beef."
we did. We
It was a
did.
great tweet.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
was
Some of my finest work.
hilarious. Yeah, no, that was an incredible end to this hilarious saga. So there was
And with that, do you have something you want to start with?
Well, we also got to talk about James Scott's salt tweet. Oh, he's on the grind now, bro. He was up till 5 a.m. last night.
I saw
playing
that.
Elite.
That's crazy. I didn't. You told me about the salt tweet like just before we started this, and I had no idea that was something that even happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He was like,
he lost games to the Arbiter, I think, and he got really sad about it.
I think I was watching that set. I remember seeing like the tripod and everything set up. I was like right next to his set, playing my set. I think actually.
Nice.
Yeah, and he was like, the tweet itself went, "I'm so tired of losing at these tournaments. So much for touching grass. I'm gonna no life this game," which is just so funny.
Got like 150 likes too. People were in approval.
I know. We were rooting for this guy to go through his winter arc, and the craziest thing too is like every tournament before he was just like so happy and chill. So it was just like a shock.
And now he's in neither. And I'm like, I was talking to him earlier today. I was like, yo, you gotta like give some grace to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways. We had this huge bracket, right?
Yes.
We had Zomba, Jakal, Pharaoh, obviously Xavier, and then we had Noodle, Upstart. We had many different top-level New Jersey players at this event. And so you want to talk about how TCNJ did at this tournament?
Absolutely. So first up, we had Apokwa. I remember got 25th.
Yeah, he got the win over Judas, the Montclair head TO, which is a pretty big win.
And lately, something he's been talking about, we're starting to see a Rider Apokwa phenomenon.
Yeah, low-key, Rider Apokwa, kind of going crazy. I mean, he has wins over Sentinel, now Judas.
Yeah.
Shoot, he's doing well at these Rider events.
And as for you, how'd your run go?
Me? I won too. I remember I was pretty sad when I lost to Wob, but I was like, the struggle is beautiful. And I'm glad I took him to Game 3. I got walloped Game 3, though. And that's what I kind of felt bad about, was like, I would have preferred to lose a Heartbreaker, which sounds weird because like that would have been like, like it is devastating for a lot of people. But for me, it's like, oh, if I'm gonna lose, I want to at least leave my all out on the field. I can leave that set knowing, you know what, I did everything I possibly could in that moment. In Game 3, I got destroyed, and I was like, well, I could have done better, But I'm still fine with how I did. I got destroyed by Kimu. All good. Kimu's really good. Shout out to her. Lost to Wob. I beat user as Logan. Logan got a DQ win over Chaka Jesus, so I ended up playing him instead.
Yeah.
So I had an SPR of +1 technically, so I outperformed relatively speaking. So I'm cool with it.
That's good. A dub's a dub. What about you, Brian? How do you feel about your run?
So can we go back to the Street Fighter 6 segment? No. I would be lying if I said it wasn't a disappointing run for me. I believe I went. If you don't count my DQ win, it's 0-2. I lost to Rainbow
to Steve
to start. And I think what made me realize this tournament is that it shows now that I have not been playing the game outside of the TCNJ tournaments, which I've been doing for
a while
nearly a whole school year now.
Yeah.
It's like really just playing and like at the TCNJ tournaments just for a little bit. So I could definitely see it there. I definitely feel, though, that towards the end of the set, I almost came back Game 2 last stock, and it made me realize, like, oh, I now remember how to play against Steve. But it was, like, too little, too late. So, yeah, I would say that's how that set kind of went. The first game, like, really wasn't that close, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think, like, towards the end, I started to figure out, and it's like, well, that's what I get for not playing the game. This is, like, what made me realize.
Yeah.
And then I went down to play...
Eldid.
Who?
Oh, you know Eldid?
The guy who won Squid Games.
I guess.
You had to play Menchu. Yeah.
Oh,
we're talking about
yes.
that, too.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about level 7 for a hot second. And I'm like, yeah.
Level 7 won Squid Games?
Yeah, I mean, I beat level 7, though, so put me on that NJPR. No, but yeah, lost to Menchu. Always have struggled against the Dr. Mario. It's mainly just the way that Menchu plays, I think.
Oh,
my
God.
And I think it's also the way that he has to play against me, because I always hear that a lot of players do have to end up playing a lot more lame against me to actually beat me, to stop my momentum, because I definitely know
story of my life.
Yeah, once I get my momentum going in a game, it's very hard for anyone to really stop that momentum I've seen. So Menchu does a very, very good job with that with Dr. Mario, and unless like my parries are on point with the shield drops, I'm really not going to be doing that much against this Doc.
Yeah, it's tough. But Menchu is also on a great run that entire tournament. He beat Alter as well, and he beat Rainbow, kind of avenging your loss.
That's what I'm saying. He did very, very well. It's almost like I gave him that power up.
Exactly. I mean,
I started his losers run.
He got top 16, man, which is a very
really good
accomplishment. SPR +1, so big shout outs to Menchu. We also had this guy over here make top 24.
Because I am the GOAT, clearly.
Who'd you beat to get there?
Well, listen, we can just accept that I got top 24. We don't even need to talk about it. I'm just goated. It was Taman and
Sonic the Sora.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonic's no light win now because I don't know if you guys saw, but he took a game off Menchu in their set. In their winner set. I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to play Sonic and not Menchu in losers?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, Sonic. I'm being a hater. Sonic is good. To be clear,
Yeah.
Sonic is a very solid player.
I mean, he did super well, I thought, and Taman is always a tough opponent. I never have to go lightly against him.
For sure.
Yeah.
It must feel really good getting that win versus Taman, and then immediately I hand you over $5 from Jackal.
I felt like such
must
a
have
G.
been peak.
And the game 3
win
too.
I
against
believe
Taman?
Yeah, was that a reverse 2-0 or was it you won the first?
It was
lost
a
the
reverse. It was
second?
a reverse 2-0.
There you go.
I remember
Bring it
checking
back.
bracket. You would have probably had to have played Mimic to get in the top 24.
Yeah.
I hear he's
not
good.
for his DQ. So that would have been definitely interesting. But nevertheless, man, 2-2. You were the best performing TCNJ player at the Royal Stampede, except for
the GOAT.
Oh my God, Xavier the GOAT's run! It was actually incredible. He's doing the absolute cinema thing. They're doing the absolute cinema thing. Oh my God!
You guys will see on the YouTube video.
Actually, he got a DQ round 1, so I don't count his run as anything.
Okay.
True, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Is Xavier trash?
Creation would have
Is
farmed.
Xavier carried?
That probably crackled the audio. So sorry to the listeners.
Maybe Xavier should recommend himself that he play Rob.
But yeah, he started out in, what would you say, this like top like 60, I guess, is like what the starting
because
thing was.
he beats
Ghost Toad and then Crimson Abe. That's a pretty good win.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a very good win.
Big North Jersey
on
win.
stream as well. Mm-hmm. And then goes on stream again, beats his doubles partner who he casually got grand finals with in doubles, A9.
And from what I've seen a lot of the time that, or at least like when I've kept up with Xavier's tournament runs, whenever he's had a South Jersey tournament, I've seen him lose against A9 very often the past few times. I think he won before Royal Stampede one time before A9, like the most recent one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe at Icebox Battles, the tournament that he runs now down in South Jersey. I think maybe he beat him there once, but besides that, I haven't seen him win against A9 often. And from the looks of it, it was a confident 2-0 for the most part. Because I turned off the stream for maybe a few minutes, and it was already onto the Jackal set.
Also, you're low-key wrong. A9 is 10-14 against Xavier. So, get destroyed.
Well, I do know that he's beaten him very early. Or Xavier has beaten A9 very early in their careers.
Get pwned.
But what are like I guess I would say last like 5.
It's actually very back and forth. Last 5. Okay, so I'm not going to include the Royal Stampede. His last 5, it is it's a I'm wrong. It's 4-1 A9 in the last 5.
Yeah, maybe we should switch co-hosts. I'm not sure.
Here at the Weekly Smash Rap, we love misinformation. Shout out to misinformation, my goat.
Hashtag I got pwned.
So going back to what I was saying.
Yeah, it's going back.
I had always really seen but it always had gone game 3 every time that they had played, or it had gone last game.
Yeah,
so it was
true.
It was always close. But A9 had always snuck out that last one at the end. But from the looks of it, Xavier was just on another level. So
for sure.
Let's just go into top 8 and see what that was.
He gets 3-0 by Zomba. It happens.
Yeah.
What do you do?
But each game was pretty.
We've
pretty
all
close
been there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been destroyed by many a top players before. I mean, don't check my VOD against Karama.
But that set against Noodle though.
Yeah. Also, but before he did that, he actually 3-0'd Crimson Abe in the run back. So 5-0 in games against Crimson Abe.
And got the Ditto win in the last game.
Yeah. That's
So
a little,
kind of
little
cementing
flex right
like
there.
I am the Mario of New Jersey.
Yes, sir. But he had to go up against Noodle, who was on an incredible run of his own. Obviously, we talk about him holding up the "we need to ban Cargo Throw" sign. Well, that's because we might need to in South Jersey with how he was playing. getting a reverse 3-0, huge win over Pharaoh, as well as getting some insane clips along the way.
Yeah.
So he was coming in hot and loser semis, but Xavier just came through with even more heat.
It was a 6-stock
Yes.
towards the end.
Yes.
Absolutely
Including
crazy.
a 59-second victory in Game 3, making the quickest of work of Noodle.
I think the quickest game of the whole entire tournament. I would say.
Yeah, it was. It was either that or Noodle's Game 2 win against Mr. Fluffy.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't watch that one, but when the Xavier one happened, I was so locked in. I was just like, I don't know. My
Stop
mind was
everything you're
expanding
doing.
watching Xavier
Mine
play.
was blown. And I don't know if you guys were watching the Jakal set. I think I saw you actually when I was watching the stream, like in the background in the crowd. I don't know if you watched it,
I was
but
not, unfortunately.
Xavier versus Jakal, that was a crazy set.
It almost went to a, Game 4?
Game 5.
Game 5, because Xavier took that first game pretty well against Jakal. And then I believe game 2 and 3, 2 was not that close. I think it was like a 2-stock, early 2-stock. But then game 3, he took it back to last stock. Didn't get the win there, but then game 4, he nearly took just like the entire game right there. Like he had come back from 3 stocks down.
He did. Jakal SD trying to style with Wolflash, I think. And then,
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And what Xavier said in his tweet, too, he said, like, he was this close to landing an F smash. He just didn't dash
He just
back.
didn't get the dash back. And I can't even tell you how many
Tragic.
times I've been there where either I'll get a dash attack instead of an F smash, or I just won't dash back when I want an F smash. That happens a lot in Ultimate. And clearly that obviously happened there. But maybe he would have won the set if he got that dash back.
Either way, Xavier had an incredible run. And we really got to talk about how Xavier this season in TCNJ tournaments has been like nearly like perfect. He won F Troop 1, no sets dropped. Won F Troop 4, no sets dropped. Goes into Royal Stampede, only gets 3rd place, only losing to 2 of the best players in the entire world. It's pretty much as close to a perfect season as you can get so far.
Yeah, that Xavier, he's been doing it for many, many years now. This is some of the best he's ever played in his entire life. So shout out to Xavier.
And it's crazy because he's still juggling. He's juggling more stuff than he has before, like TOing, more schoolwork than ever. Like it's crazy. Like he doesn't get out of class until like 5, and he's still doing this.
It's just incredible. And that's just about going to do it for this segment. We got about 30 seconds left. So if we can do a brief recap of grand finals with Zomba and Jakal. I mean, who else was it going to be? And Zomba did win, but Jakal did take a game. And it was, I mean, besides the fact that it was so one-sided, it was a very good set to watch.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Zomba. He'll be back at King. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
And with that, that's going to do it for this segment. I'm going to play something, and then we'll be right back. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're enjoying the show. Real quick, before we get back into it, I'd like to read you some events we have coming up. And first up, this Friday will be the very last Bronx Barrel Blast of the semester, unfortunate. But on May 10th will be TCNJ's King. We're having the Royal Stampede and King. So there will be more on that later. And for now, let's get back into the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the weekly Smash Wrap. We just got done talking about the Royal Stampede, won by Zomba. And we're now going to move to an even bigger tournament, F Troop number 5.
Yes, sir. An even bigger tournament with a whopping 17 entrants.
Wow.
No, but in all seriousness, it was a crazy weekend because literally the day before Royal Stampede happened, we had another local event in the same county, F Troop number 5 being that at TCNJ. And, I mean, things were pretty chalk for the most part. You know, Sentinel winning, Ice getting second, EO getting third, you know, the usual stuff. But I kind of wanted to take this opportunity to flex on you guys, essentially.
yeah, all right.
Because I beat both of y'all. And, yeah, that felt
You
good.
did, and it was fair and square.
It felt good.
Because I was playing Wolf.
It was good.
Because I had to play Owen round 1, and I was nervous, bro. I was literally, like, shaking right before the set. And I didn't know why. I was just, like, anxious for some reason. Probably because I also had to get some homework done. So I was like, I need to make time to get this homework done while also winning. So I play Owen, and it goes to game 3. I think you won the first game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I did.
And
yeah, I won it with a back air.
Yeah, and it was Wolf Palu, and I ended up kind of sealing it game 3 pretty solidly, and I felt really good about how I played. I think my counterplay against the Wolf has kind of been evolving a bit, so I felt good about how I played there.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like you had a very good grip of the matchup that game because, like, my whole strategy was, all right, I'm just going to play grounded. I'm just going to try and, like, shield your Nair and Fair because they're minus and Wolf's Grab is really good and then just get 50. But
I will say, though, like, game 2, I remember it went to, like, last stock. That game 2 is probably, like, low-key one of the most strategic games we've both played
oh, yeah.
in a very long time. It was on Battlefield, and I was platform camping like crazy, teleporting everywhere. And you're trying to maneuver around the platforms, trying to catch me, a little like cat and mouse kind of thing.
Yeah,
there was so much microspacing going on. It was honestly like I wish I recorded it because it was one of my favorite games I've played. Just so intense.
That's awesome. And now I was shaking too. I was very nervous.
Yeah. And then I got destroyed by Sentinel. I SD'd like 3 times because I kept trying to just go off and down there him.
Hey, but that's the winner of F Troop. So you
Yeah.
could say like, one of the only people I lost to was the winner to F Troop.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I mean, JD said that he really liked how I was playing, so I felt good about that. And then I had to play Connor, and he was playing like Greninja and Ken, and I mean, I won. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't play the game
Yeah.
that much anymore anyway, and he's like kind of not found as much fun like playing Diddy Kong anymore, really.
Yeah, he's switching to Street Fighter for the most part, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his Diddy Kong was always the one that gave me the most trouble. So I was low key like, oh, thank goodness he's going Greninja again. But we love Connor. He's doing awesome in Street Fighter and stuff, and also Marvel Rivals, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's just taking other avenues of playing the game. So it was just kind of whatever, and I made it into top 8, which I felt really good about, and I had to play this guy over here. And I was practicing the K-Rool matchup with Sentinel, being like, okay, I got prep for the K-Rool matchup, JD's played K-Rool before. Let me practice him for a couple of games, and I go, and I play the set, and who do you play?
Ooh, my man Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong. Emphasis on Kong.
Emphasis on Kong.
And you win game 1. Pretty
Yeah,
solidly.
I mean, I told you this. I'm like, every time that we have played friendlies and I have gone Diddy Kong, and I guess your Palu too, you haven't taken a game
Yeah.
off of it. And it was looking really good. Honestly, all of the games I played Diddy.
Yeah. Game 2 as well, especially.
Game 2, it was like just an unfortunate. I think game 2 is the one where I went for like the cool down air.
Yeah.
And I missed. But you were
you-
still like low in stock, so it was like, okay, well
Yeah.
now I just have to win a 1 stock game.
Yeah, because you air dodged and didn't make it back onto stage after you missed a down air. And
Yeah.
that was kind of the turning point for me where I'm like, okay, I have a real chance of winning this. Because I told you, like, before that moment, I was already mentally prepping myself for a reverse 3-0. I was like, all right, how am I going to dig myself out of, like, this 2-0
Yeah.
hole? But then after that SD, I was like, oh, shoot, I got a real chance to steal this game. And I ended up kind of stealing it from you.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking game 3 as well, which was also quite a close one.
Yes.
And then you were finally like, okay, I'll go K-Rool.
I'll just say, well, I think it was more so just like, all right, well, we'll just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And
It
it did
almost
okay.
did.
It did okay for a little bit. I mean, I didn't do any damage the last stock, but
Yeah.
I did get to the last stock. So I'm like, I just think the K rule doesn't work anymore on those bad matchups. But that might also just be because I don't play
Yeah.
the game as much anymore. I don't play you guys as much.
Yeah, but I was so relieved to beat your K-Rool. I was like, because you're at like 175 when you died, and I was at my last stock, and I was like, literally like, yo, if I lose that game 4 somehow.
If you lose, I don't know. I might have taken that whole
that-
tournament.
It's terrifying.
That controller is a landing in Yucatan, bro.
It's just so scary playing against Brian because he can bring it back at like any percent. It's
100%.
nuts.
And then I lost, and this is what I was talking about earlier, but I'd rather actually lose a heartbreaker. I lost game 3 last stock to TFJ. I beat his Snake 2-1, but then against this Palutena, game 4 was like a last stock, last hit, and he ends up clutching it. Then on the last game, he ends up winning last stock, and it was just a heartbreaker, and it was brutal, but it felt amazing because I'm like, wow, I really just gave it my all against TFJ, and I left it all out on the field. I felt really proud of myself. So I got 5th. That ends up kind of translating well for me on the PR. I just wanted to flex about that because that was the one like major thing that happened at the tournament.
There you go.
Flexing deserved. Very
Also,
nice
Lennox
flexing.
went 2-2, so
you
shout out
go.
to my
Hey, good
boy.
for Lennox. He's getting better.
Shouts out.
Hey, I beat him. That means it's a good win, right?
Exactly, that's a dub. You know what I'm saying? I haven't beaten Lennox yet.
I would also like to say, if I may flex once,
What's
I
up?
had a nail biter set with a Pokwa. I think
was
this might
just
be
looking
the
at that.
only time I've beaten him
Yeah.
at TCNJ.
Yeah, that was big for sure. And that etched you in the top 8 as well. So
It did.
congrats.
But anyway.
Right now, the top 5, it's looking like Xavier's obviously going to be number 1. I think I'm at number 2 right now, and then Owen is probably number 3.
Yeah,
And then AJ is number 4. He would have been like 6 or 5, but after he beat Judas at
it's a good
Royal
win.
Stampede, that's definitely moved him up. And Kevin J. Sai is still kind of holding on to 5th place, even though he did not attend F25 or Royal Stampede. And then Brian is like right next to him, basically.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Brian, do we want to switch it over to Street Fighter real quick?
Yeah, we could just talk about that super quick. I mean, I won again. I don't even know how many of these we've done, but every one that I've gone to, I've won. So keeping that undefeated streak so far. Yeah, myself first.
Dude, the moment that someone the moment Brian doesn't get first at TCNJ tournament, we're gonna go ballistic. We're gonna
Dude,
throw a
I
rager.
know. And it's going to be so, like, mean, too, because it's like, it's not even we want him to lose. It's just like he's going to have won, like, 70 in a row.
I mean, that's what I have to realize now is that I'm one of the people that, and I've noticed this with literally every person that I've played at the Hops and Stocks tournaments too. Like, as soon as I lose, so one of these players who I've always beaten, I just gotta expect the pop off.
It's
them.
literally like the Undertaker's WrestleMania win streak of like 21-0.
Do you think that adds, like, the pressure of getting popped off on? Do you think that, like, heightens your nerves at all when you play Street Fighter?
I think it's more so like when I'm maybe like, I think this happened once actually when I was playing a Pokwa. I think this was last semester when we first brought TCNJ. It went like game 3. I think I went like Marissa game 1 or something like that, but then lost. And then went Geef, but it was like still very, very close. It was like went last round, game 3. So I think that's when like the nerves started to get to me. But then I was like, okay, I've beaten him before. I know how to beat him. I have the more experience, so that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there you go. It's just all about mentality.
Yeah. So just really quick to recap, I got first. I played Marissa the whole tournament. Victor Vaughn went JP for the first time, new master character. Went a little bit of Kimberly too. Went her in grand finals to try and beat me. Fortunately, was not able to clutch it out.
Got a game though.
Yeah. Pokwa gets third, still
Yes,
top
sir.
3. EO with the big 4th place with Guile. Then we have TCNJ Tempo and Oscar Wildefan 69.
Yes,
5th place with
sir.
Ken and Jury. And then the 2 Rider boys at 7th place, Poncho and Tempo.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Mike. I just learned his first name
Yeah.
yesterday.
Wait,
I've known him as Ryder
what is
Tempo for
Mike
so
Tempo's
long.
first name?
It's Mike.
It's actually Rider.
The name's Tempo.
Ryder Tempo.
Rider Tempo.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Anyways, listen, I think that's pretty much all we wanted to talk about when it comes to F Troop. I'm not sure how much time we have left.
We
in
have
the
about
pod.
9 minutes. I say that's the perfect length
Yes.
for our BJR
So
tier
I
list.
got something special for you, Brian. Listen, we've
boy.
been making tier lists. We've been making various tier lists throughout this season of the Weekly Smash Rap, and we're going to make another one with you. And this one is going to be all about the BJR experience. All right,
Oh, boy.
BJR's greatest moments and BJR's not so greatest moments.
Oh,
so we are
man.
going to rank, I believe, 8 or 7. I'm going to have to check right here. I believe we have, 7 of your most iconic and infamous moments. And we're going to rank them from S through F, all right?
All right.
So you want to start off with something good or something bad?
Start off with the bad. I'm actually curious. I want to know what the bad things are.
So the first one I wanted to talk to you about, and this was something that I was kind of curious about when like doing research on your history of playing Smash, is that there was a coin box where you had to play against Wrath. How did that go? Having to play Wrath online.
Now, you know what's funny? Is I actually went last stock with him the last game that we played.
okay.
I think I got either 3 stocked or 2 stocked the first
one,
game.
yeah.
But then I went last stock with him the last game. So honestly, that wasn't that bad of a set. I think it was more so cool that I was able to be able to play him.
That's
I
fair.
forget even like how I got there. Did I get like 2 DQ wins to get
Yeah,
to
you
Wrath?
got like 2 DQ.
I think I got like
wins.
2 DQ wins to got to
Because
Wrath.
that's your average coin box experience.
Hey, there we go
Yeah.
though. 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It's like one guy
I-
didn't have a land adapter, the other guy is playing the game on a printer.
Exactly. that's the coin box experience.
Keep
if I've
playing
ever
out,
seen
keep playing
it.
out the Arby's.
Yeah.
Dude, I know.
I mean, if I had to rank that, we have S, A, B.
C, D, F.
I'll put that as solid B. I think
Solid
I
B.
think it was fun being able to actually play against the top player.
Okay, that's fair. And I also wanted to talk about one of your greatest moments, something that is really proven to be an iconic part of the TCNJ rivalry with Rival University. Of course, I'm talking about Queen 2023, when you absolutely wiped the floor against Ryder.
I mean, I think just in general, like the fact that there is an Apokwa edit of my 11th stock run,
Apokwa, bro.
I think it just has to go at S. I mean, depending on what else is on this list, I think it's just got to be number one right now.
It's one of your flagship moments for sure.
I think just starting off with the way that I was able to beat Sentinel's plant in the last stock, just like the runoff, but like reverse back air, I think was just so cool. And then I think probably the funniest moment and the reason why that made it so great is because I genuinely did SD like
Every
2.5 of the stocks. The only stock that I really didn't SD was Menchu like down being me off stage, like to kind of like get the trade KO.
Yeah.
But that was also me just like trying to like run off and kill him just in general. So yeah, I have to put that at number one for right now.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely peak. And another sort of peak moment, and this was kind of a defining part of your freshman year at TCNJ, is when we played against each other at D Troop number 5.
This is the spring one, right?
Yes, this is the match that temporarily put me in retirement because I was so sad that I lost to you.
Yeah, I'll probably put that at A because it was a good set. I'd have to say that. I don't know why I went DK game 1. I think I was like, it was more so overconfidence.
Yeah.
At that point, maybe I won, like I said earlier, with DK. I don't know, but I think it was maybe a little bit more overconfidence. I'm like, all right, this Palu is a lot like better than I thought it was going to be. So then I had to lock in with K. Rool, and I think the relief that I got from seeing Game 3 last stock, that air dodge in the air when you jumped. This was I think the only time in my Smash career that you will ever see me not jump to try to go for that up air.
Exactly.
And I waited, and it paid off.
Up smash.
Dividends.
I was genuinely distraught after that loss.
Yeah, so I'll put that in A tier for now.
Yeah.
I think we got to put that there.
That is definitely, like, in the whole me, like, trying to retire afterwards, definitely, like, one of the most embarrassing parts of my career as well. But now I can look back and laugh at it because it was such a different time for both of us. So it's cool seeing the progress that we've both made after that. But I kind of want to talk to you about a darker moment in your career. That is most recently at a Bronx Barrel Blast where you got 3-0'd by oscarwildefan.
Oh, yeah.
In this.
You know what? It's not as much about being upset at Owen, and this is nothing against the Rider people either, but they did not know whether it was a best of 5 set or a best of 3 set.
Bit of controversy here, yeah.
I think what happened was, I believe I went K. Rool game 1. Yep. This is also, I was like, this is when I started to really see the decline.
Yeah. This is the
I was like, okay, this is when it's starting to get kind of bad. And K. Rool got beat. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I think I went Fox against you game 2. But this was me thinking that, this is the last game. Let me just try and once again throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. And I lost. And we started. The thing that hurt me the most was that we started wrapping up our controllers.
Yeah.
And then you went up and said 2-0, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, it's a best of 5 set. I'm like, I gotta unravel my controller, put everything back in.
Put the switch back on.
Yeah, and, oh, man.
It was a whole deal.
I could tell
it was rough. And then I
now.
went Diddy Kong, and I'm like, man, I don't know how
Because
to
it's
play
funny,
Toon
too.
Link Diddy Kong.
We love the Rider people, but we like ask them, is this best of 3 or best of 5? And they said, like, dead in my eyes, best of 3.
And then they went best of 5.
They're like, oopsie.
So I would have to say that one, judging by, that's probably the worst moment on the list.
D tier.
I'd have to put that one in just like F tier, and like the sense that like, I just hate how I love.
Definitely not F tier, bro. I don't know, man.
I think it was F tier in the sense that I was like disappointed that once I didn't even take a game, even after I had the second chance.
Yeah.
I think that's why it goes in F tier.
Okay, that's fair, but you'll see why you're wrong later. But before we get to that point, we have two more good parts that we wanted to talk about. One is being FemShep in the grudge match, as you talked about earlier in this episode. How did that feel?
I'll probably put that one just in S tier in the sense that it was like probably the coolest event that I've ever been able to partake in.
Amazing moment.
Yeah, I mean, the first set, the nerves were through the roof.
Yeah.
And I never have nerves when I'm playing FemShep. I feel like it's always just like a slobber knocker every single time that we play. So I just think the fact that it was like, this has a lot going on. Like, this has a lot riding on it. And FemShep was really trying to go for this. So, yeah, I'd have to say that goes in S tier.
Yeah, for sure. And no, it was an iconic moment for sure. And us and Victor Vaughn and us, we were like reacting to it. We were
the reacting was definitely the icing on the cake. That was very fun to go back and rewatch.
But now we got to talk about for the last one.
Is this the worst moment?
Yes.
Is this what I think it is?
We got to talk about you crashing out at Mario Party over the lava platform.
Oh, oh my God. Put this at number one. This was the funniest moment ever playing a video game that I think I've had. Oh my goodness.
You were irate because Owen, who's just pressing buttons, kept accidentally sabotaging
and we got to
you.
play Mario Party after this? Oh, goodness gracious.
That's true. We are playing Mario. And you know what I'm going to do, Brian?
Do this.
I'm going to blindfold myself, and I'm going to hold the controller upside down.
Exactly. Great.
And I'll probably play better.
think this was so funny, and the only reason why
because you ended up winning.
I won this game off of 2 bonus stars. So
because you got the red space bonus star.
You know what?
That
was the power up. I'm gonna put that at number 1. That was the funniest thing. That was more so me trying to make everybody laugh. Like, why does this guy not know the A button from the B button? Oh my goodness! And he doesn't understand the game. I'm gonna crash about it. I'm gonna crash out about it right now, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Then why'd you lose 3-0 to me, Brian?
Oh, I don't know.
And with that, that's going to be our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. That's going to do it for this segment. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next week. Woo! Open your mind.
That was great.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
I'm glad we ended up fucking making something out of nothing, you know?
There we go.
Diamonds in the rough, bro. Fucking pressure makes diamonds. And apparently it makes this
the
little
mics work.
Balloon that I've been stimming with for the past hour. But that's the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching.
Oh my fucking
This thing has been on for so long, and hopefully it hasn't burnt out my phone yet. So,
Is it record? Oh, yeah,
we're going to see if I actually end up uploading this video footage, but if not, then it'll just be a nice little archival thing for me to look back on every now and then. So, peace out.
That will be.
See y'all later.